What if I told you that the secret to waking up energized, thinking clearly, and protecting your heart isn't hidden in a pill bottle, but sitting quietly in your kitchen faucet? And this is Senior Health After 50. Tonight, we're uncovering a simple habit that most people ignore. A habit that could sharpen your brain, prevent heart attacks and strokes, and maybe even add years to your life. It's not a supplement, it's not a new workout, and it costs almost nothing. In fact, you've probably skipped it hundreds of times without knowing it's quietly sabotaging your sleep, your energy, and your health. So let me ask you this. What happens to your brain, your blood, and your body when you go to bed even slightly dehydrated? The answer will surprise you. And tonight, we're diving deep into the science, the myths, and the truth that could change how you sleep and how you age forever. Welcome to Senior Health After 50, where your health isn't just managed, it's mastered. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Why bedtime hydration matters more than you think. You know, most people treat water like an afterthought, a tool to fight thirst when the mouth gets dry. But from a biological perspective, water isn't just a passive beverage. It's the currency of life flowing through every cell, vessel, and organ in your body. In clinical medicine, we often say, if blood is the river, water is the current. It's what carries nutrients, balances electrolytes, cushions your joints, regulates your core temperature, and fuels the filtration work of your kidneys. And that's just scratching the surface. But here's where it gets critical. While you're asleep, your body doesn't just pause. It goes into repair mode. Tissues regenerate, hormones recalibrate, the brain goes into detox. Yet every hour you're asleep, you're also losing water through breathing, sweating, and yes, even that occasional bathroom trip you barely remember in the dark. Now imagine heading into that 6 to 8 hour window with less than ideal hydration. That's like trying to clean a house overnight without electricity or water pressure. And you might not realize it, but dehydration is cumulative. You don't need to be parched to be dehydrated. In fact, mild dehydration, the kind most people carry around every day, thickens your blood, makes it more sluggish, more viscous. And that's a dangerous combination, especially at night. Studies show that the majority of heart attacks and strokes occur between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. Why? Because that's when your blood is at its most concentrated. The vessels are tighter. Your body's morning push of adrenaline and cortisol increases clot risk. And if you didn't hydrate before bed, you're essentially starting the day with syrup in your veins. I once treated a 9-year-old lawyer, let's call him Robert. No history of heart disease, no red flags, fit, active, trim. He collapsed at 6:40 the morning while preparing for court. It wasn't cholesterol, it wasn't blood pressure. It was a clot-induced mini-stroke, likely triggered by severe overnight dehydration and the morning cortisol surge. It happens far more often than we talk about. And Robert's not the only one. Remember back in 2016 when Hillary Clinton collapsed unexpectedly at a 9/11 memorial? The headlines went wild. But behind the scenes, her doctor confirmed she was battling pneumonia, made worse by dehydration and overheating. The takeaway? Even those surrounded by the best medical care on earth can be one skip glass of water away from a major health scare. And if you're over 60, your body's thirst mechanism has already dulled. That means you can be dehydrated and not feel thirsty at all. So here's the big picture. If you're waking up feeling groggy, foggy-headed, or dizzy, it might not be just age. If your joints are stiff, your blood pressure spikes in the morning, or you're constipated before breakfast, these are signs your body's running dry. And no, drinking a gallon of water in the morning doesn't fix it. Once the damage is done overnight, you're playing catch-up the rest of the day. That's why I tell my patients, especially those in their 50, 60, and beyond, don't go to bed dehydrated. You wouldn't run a marathon on an empty tank. So why sleep like that? 2. Nocturia. Why nighttime peeing isn't always about drinking water. Let's talk about something most people are too embarrassed to bring up with their doctor: getting up to pee at night. Now, I've lost count of how many patients, especially those over 60, tell me they avoid drinking water after 7 p.m. because they don't want to get up to pee. Fair. No one enjoys stumbling to the bathroom half asleep at 2 a.m. But here's the shocking truth. Peeing at night isn't always caused by drinking water. In fact, in my practice, I'd say more than 60% of nocturia cases aren't about hydration at all. They're about underlying medical conditions. Let me break it down. When your bladder isn't the problem. People often blame water for their nighttime bathroom trips, but water might just be the messenger, not the culprit. Here are the real issues I often uncover. Sleep apnea, which increases nighttime urine production by altering hormone levels. Prostate enlargement, especially common in men over 50. Uncontrolled high blood pressure, which disrupts kidney filtration timing. Excess sugar, common in diabetics, and sugar pulls water into urine. Heart failure, where fluid redistributes while lying down. Restless legs or reflux, conditions that wake you up and make you think you need to pee. Overactive bladder or urinary tract infections, UTIs. So if you stop drinking water after dinner and still wake up 2-3 times to pee, it's time to look deeper. What happens when you blame the wrong thing? When you blame water, you miss the opportunity to uncover what's really wrong. And worse, you walk around dehydrated, thinking you're doing yourself a favor. That's like blaming your smoke detector for the fire. Water is not the enemy, it's your ally, but it has to be paired with awareness. So, if you or someone you love is waking up to pee more than once per night, especially if it's paired with fatigue, blood pressure swings, or snoring, please don't just cut the water, get evaluated. Because it may not be a bladder issue. It could be a brain, heart, hormone, or lung issue in disguise. 3. How dehydration harms the brain, kidneys, and heart during sleep, and what most people miss. Most people think dehydration is something that happens on a hot day, after a workout, or when you forget your water bottle. But the truth is, chronic nighttime dehydration is far more dangerous, and it creeps in silently, night after night. Think about it. You go to bed, maybe a little tired, maybe a little dry-mouthed, but you don't think much of it. You've eaten dinner, brushed your teeth, and skipped that glass of water because you're afraid of waking up to pee. But inside your body, a quiet storm is brewing. Your brain is a highly water-dependent organ. It's made up of nearly 75% water, and during sleep, your brain engages in one of its most important jobs: waste removal through the glymphatic system. Think of it like an overnight deep cleaning crew for your brain. But here's the catch: it can't run without enough fluid. When you're dehydrated, this system slows down. Waste products like beta amyloid associated with Alzheimer's can begin to accumulate. Let that sink in. Poor hydration could impair your brain's ability to detoxify itself at night. And you wonder why you wake up groggy, forgetful, or mentally slow the next morning. Now let's talk about the cardiovascular system. Your heart pumps blood through over 60,000 miles of vessels. When you're well hydrated, that blood is smooth, mobile, and efficient. But when you're dehydrated, your blood thickens, literally. This increases resistance and makes your heart work harder. Worse still, the early morning surge of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline spikes your blood pressure even further. This is why so many heart attacks and strokes happen in the early morning hours. Not just because of stress or genetics, but because of silent, unrecognized dehydration. The kidneys, silent workhorses of the night. While you're asleep, your kidneys don't sleep. They're busy filtering blood, balancing electrolytes, and removing toxins. But to do this, they need fluid. When water is lacking, two things happen. 1. Kidney filtration slows down, allowing waste to build up. 2. Urine becomes more concentrated, which can lead to kidney stones and inflammation over time. For people with early-stage kidney disease, or even those at risk, this stress can accelerate damage quietly over the years. And here's the kicker: by the time you feel the symptoms, much of the damage is already done. It's a cycle, and it gets worse with age. As we age, several things happen that make dehydration more dangerous. Our thirst mechanism weakens. You don't feel thirsty even when your body needs water. We often take medications like diuretics that increase fluid loss. Our kidneys lose efficiency, making fluid balance more fragile. And mobility becomes a factor. Many seniors drink less to avoid going to the bathroom at night. But these adaptations backfire. They lead to poor sleep, confusion, constipation, elevated blood pressure, and in severe cases, falls, Utah, and ER visits. In fact, over 9% of ER visits in older adults are related to dehydration and urinary issues. And the solution is usually shockingly simple: hydration. 4. The right way to drink water at night. timing, quantity, and what to add. Let's be clear, hydrating at night doesn't mean chugging a gallon of water and hoping for the best. In fact, that might be the worst thing you can do if you're trying to sleep through the night. The secret to effective nighttime hydration comes down to 3 things: timing, quantity, and composition. Timing. When you drink is just as important as what you drink. Here's a mistake I see all the time. Someone gulps down a large glass of water right before brushing their teeth at 10 p.m. and then wonders why they're up at 2 a.m. That's not hydration, that's a bathroom alarm clock. The ideal window? Drink your last glass of water about 1.5 to 2 hours before bed. This gives your kidneys time to process the fluid, your bladder time to fill and empty, and your body time to rebalance before you hit deep sleep. Take, for example, Barack Obama. While his presidential routines were famously private, insiders reported that he followed a disciplined nightly routine, including a light dinner, herbal tea, or water 2 hours before bed, and 15 minutes of quiet time. Why? Because he valued deep, uninterrupted sleep for mental clarity and performance, and that starts with smart hydration. Quantity, the Goldilocks zone of hydration. Too little, and you wake up foggy and dry-mouthed. Too much, and you're running to the bathroom all night. So what's the sweet spot? For most healthy adults, 6 to 12 ounces of water after dinner, but before the 2-hour bedtime window. That's roughly half a tall glass to a full one. You're not trying to fill a swimming pool, you're just gently topping off your tank before rest. Composition, it's not just plain water. Here's where things get interesting. While pure water is great, it's not always enough. Especially if you're fasting, you've been sweating, you've been sick, you're low in sodium or potassium, and you're following a keto or low-carb diet. Why? Because water needs electrolytes to absorb efficiently into your cells. Think of electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and glucose as the key that unlocks your cells so water can get inside. Without them, water may just pass right through you. The danger of too much plain water. Yes, it's true. Too much water without electrolytes can actually be harmful. It dilutes your sodium levels and can lead to hyponatremia, a condition where your brain cells swell with water. It's rare, but it happens, especially in endurance athletes or people trying detox cleanses. You may have heard of the tragic case in 2007. A woman in California died after a radio contest where participants were told to drink large amounts of water without urinating. That's not hydration, that's poison. The better options, homemade and simple. If you want to upgrade your nighttime hydration, here are a few safe, easy, and inexpensive tweaks. Pinch of sea salt plus squeeze of lemon in your water. A splash of 100% fruit juice, like pomegranate or tart cherry. Coconut water, diluted. Vegetable broth, especially if you're fasting or low appetite. World Health Organization oral rehydration formula. 1 liter of water, 6 teaspoons of sugar, and ½ teaspoon of salt. You can even add a pinch of potassium chloride, salt substitute, if approved by your doctor. These solutions help maintain sodium-potassium balance and assist in cellular water absorption without the sugar bomb of commercial sports drinks. Skip these at night. Sports drinks loaded with artificial sugars, colors, and unnecessary sodium. Caffeinated drinks, coffee, energy drinks, even some teas. Alcohol, it dehydrates, disrupts REM sleep, and inflames your gut. Zero-calorie sweetener mixes. Studies show they may worsen insulin resistance and mess up your gut microbiome. 5. The overnight repair effect. How strategic hydration fuels longevity, detox, and deep sleep. We often think of sleep as a passive state, where the body shuts down and simply rests. But from a biological standpoint, sleep is an incredibly active process. It's when your body turns on its repair systems, regenerates tissues, processes hormones, and detoxifies at the cellular level. And guess what? None of that happens efficiently without hydration. Let's break it down. Growth hormone and deep sleep, hydration's secret ally. You've probably heard of human growth hormone, HGH, the body's master repair molecule. It spikes during the first phase of deep sleep, helping you build muscle, burn fat, and repair damaged tissues. It also helps regulate metabolism, immune function, and bone density. But here's the thing, HGH secretion depends on proper fluid balance. Dehydration impairs sleep depth, fragments rest, and lowers HGH output. So while you're tossing and turning at night, your repair systems stay in standby mode. One study published in Sleep Medicine Reviews showed that even mild dehydration could disrupt the slow-wave sleep phase, the most restorative type of sleep, and reduce nighttime secretion of both melatonin and HGH. The glymphatic system, your brain's nighttime detox crew. We talked briefly about the brain's self-cleaning system earlier, the glymphatic system. It's like your brain's plumbing crew that comes out only at night, flushing away toxins and metabolic waste products, including beta amyloid and tau proteins, the same proteins that accumulate in Alzheimer's disease. But this cleaning crew can't do its job without one essential ingredient: water. Without adequate hydration, cerebrospinal fluid circulation slows down, the drain pipes of the brain become congested, and what's left behind? Toxins, brain fog, memory problems, and a higher risk of neurodegenerative disease over time. Think of it like trying to rinse out a sponge without any water. It doesn't work. Cellular cleanup, autophagy, how water affects aging. Let's go one layer deeper. One of the body's most fascinating nighttime activities is autophagy, a process where old or damaged cells are broken down and recycled. This happens predominantly during fasting, sleep, and deep rest. And again, hydration is a key player. Why? Because autophagy is metabolically active. It creates waste products. It requires adequate fluid to mobilize those wastes through the lymphatic system and kidneys. Without water, this cellular spring cleaning becomes a toxic backlog. This is one reason why people who sleep poorly and wake up dehydrated often look, well, aged. Their cells literally didn't get a chance to reset. The lung connection, dehydration, and overnight oxygenation. Here's a less discussed effect. Your lungs dry out when you're dehydrated, especially in people using CPAP machines, living in dry climates, or breathing through their mouth at night. When your airways are dry, mucus thickens, inflammation increases, and oxygen transfer efficiency drops. That can lead to morning shortness of breath, coughing, or worsened asthma and COPD symptoms. This becomes even more important for older adults who already have diminished lung elasticity. A hydrated airway is a healthy airway. Number 6. Hydration myths that may be damaging your health. Debunking bad advice. In medicine, one of the most dangerous phrases we hear from patients is, "But I thought that was healthy." Nowhere is this more common than when we talk about hydration. Over the past decade, a tidal wave of misinformation from social media influencers, flashy supplement companies, and even well-meaning bloggers has distorted the public's understanding of water. Let's break down the most common myths about hydration that may be silently sabotaging your sleep, brain, kidneys, and longevity. Myth number 1. Just drink when you're thirsty. This one is classic and misleading. It's true that thirst is the body's alarm system for dehydration, but here's the problem. As you age, your thirst signal weakens. By the time you feel thirsty, you may already be 2 to 3% dehydrated, enough to cause brain fog, reduced concentration, headaches, elevated blood pressure, and even impaired balance, which increases fall risk in older adults. Let me be clear, thirst is not a reliable hydration strategy, especially after 60. I've treated elderly patients who were severely dehydrated and insisted, "But I'm not even thirsty." The lab results told a different story. Their kidneys, heart, and blood work were sounding the alarm. Hydration should be proactive, not reactive. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't wait until your teeth hurt. Myth number 2, all fluids hydrate equally. If I had $1 for every time someone told me I hydrate with tea and diet soda, I could retire tomorrow. Caffeine and artificial sweeteners change the game. Let's take a closer look. Coffee and energy drinks contain caffeine, a mild diuretic, which increases urine output and depletes minerals like magnesium and potassium. Diet sodas often contain aspartame, sucralose, or acesulfame K, which not only irritate the gut lining but can also impair insulin sensitivity and worsen hydration by disrupting electrolyte balance. Even so-called vitamin waters are often packed with synthetic additives, colors, and sugars that act more like liquid candy than real hydration. Myth number 3, the more water, the better. Nope, not even close. Yes, most people are chronically underhydrated, but swinging to the other extreme, overhydration without electrolytes can be just as harmful. This is especially dangerous for endurance athletes, people on keto or low-carb diets, fasting individuals, and older adults with weakened kidneys. Here's what happens when you drink too much plain water. It dilutes your sodium. This leads to hyponatremia, fatigue, nausea, headaches, confusion. In extreme cases, it causes cellular swelling, especially in the brain. Result: brain fog, seizures, even death. Hydration isn't about volume alone. It's about balance, fluid, plus electrolytes in the right ratios. The fix: how to hydrate smarter, not just more. Let's simplify. If you're eating 3 regular meals a day with fruits, vegetables, and modest salt intake, you can hydrate with mostly plain water with one caveat. Add a pinch of mineral-rich salt like Himalayan pink or sea salt to 1 glass per day, especially after sweating. If you're fasting, sick, or not eating well, consider adding a squeeze of lemon or orange, a few drops of trace minerals, a tiny splash of fruit juice. Aim to drink consistently throughout the day, not all at once. And stop believing that fancy hydration powders or colored energy drinks are somehow better than clean, strategic water. Bonus: what about sports drinks and electrolyte powders? Listen, if you're running a marathon in the desert, sure, reach for a sports drink. But if you're just sitting at a desk, taking a walk, or watching Netflix, those drinks are overkill and sometimes harmful. Most commercial electrolyte drinks contain excess sodium, artificial dyes linked to inflammation and gut irritation, sugar bombs, some have more than soda, synthetic vitamins that may not even be absorbed efficiently. For most people, these drinks do more harm than good, especially at night. 7. How to know if you're dehydrated. Signs most people miss. One of the biggest lies in modern health: if you're dehydrated, you'll feel thirsty. Wrong. Especially for older adults, thirst is an unreliable and dangerously late warning sign. By the time your brain says, "Hey, I'm thirsty," your body may already be short several hundred milliliters of fluid. And if you're over 60, that warning system becomes even duller, like a faulty smoke alarm that only goes off once the fire is halfway through the kitchen. Let's go through the real signs of dehydration, the ones most people miss, and the ones I look for in clinic. Early signs of dehydration. These are subtle but serious. Brain fog or forgetfulness, lightheadedness when standing up, dry mouth or sticky tongue, sunken eyes or dark under-eye circles, constipation or sluggish bowel movements, muscle cramps, especially at night, unusually fast or pounding heartbeat during light activity, persistent fatigue despite sleeping well. Any of these ring a bell? If so, your body may be whispering for water. Advanced signs of dehydration, often missed in seniors. These are the signs I pay close attention to, especially in older patients. Rapid drop in blood pressure when standing, orthostatic hypotension, dry, flaky skin or delayed skin turgor, skin tense when pinched, confusion or irritability, reduced urination or very dark yellow urine, cold hands and feet, heart palpitations or irregular rhythm, sudden fatigue after minimal activity. These signs are often misattributed to aging, medications, or other conditions. But many times, it's just a chronic fluid deficit the body hasn't recovered from. The at-home hydration checks, no lab needed. Here are 3 simple ways you can track hydration at home. 1. Urine color test. Pale yellow, well hydrated. Apple juice color, drink more water. Dark amber or brownish, dehydration alert. Tip: your first morning urine is a good indicator of overnight hydration. 2. Blood pressure drop on standing. Take your blood pressure seated, then stand up and measure again after 1 minute. A drop of more than 20 mmHg systolic or more than 10 mmHg diastolic may indicate dehydration. Bonus: watch for dizziness or blurred vision during this test. 3. Heart rate and pulse quality. Dehydration can cause a faster resting heart rate. Check your pulse. Is it strong and steady or weak and rapid? A heart rate over 90 BPM at rest in non-anxious conditions may be a dehydration red flag. Why seniors miss the signs? Let's be honest, many older adults downplay symptoms. They say it's just aging, when really they're running on empty. Here's why dehydration is so often missed in older adults. Less total body water to begin with. Medications like diuretics, laxatives, or antihypertensives increase fluid loss. Reduced kidney function, higher risk for imbalance. Fear of nighttime peeing makes them avoid water entirely after 5 p.m. thirst mechanism weakens and doesn't trigger the alarm anymore. Add all that up and you've got a perfect storm. Dehydration, masquerading as memory loss, dizziness, poor sleep, or joint pain. So what can you do today? Here's a quick hydration action plan for people over 50. Sip water steadily throughout the day, don't chug. Include 1 glass after dinner, about 90 minutes before bed. Add a pinch of mineral salt or squeeze of lemon if you're on a low-carb or low-sugar diet. Monitor urine, color, and morning energy. Don't ignore subtle signs: dry mouth, fatigue, constipation, dizziness. And most importantly, don't wait to feel thirsty. Hydrate like your life depends on it, because it does. 8. The big picture. Why smart nighttime hydration could add years to your life. Let's zoom out. You've just learned how something as simple as water, the most basic molecule in your home, can impact your heart, brain, kidneys, hormones, sleep, recovery, and even longevity. Not pills, not supplements, not expensive gadgets or biohacks. Just water. Used the right way, at the right time. Nighttime hydration isn't just about peeing or sleeping better. It's about giving your body the resources it needs to repair while you rest. It's about waking up without brain fog. About protecting yourself from silent strokes, heart attacks, and kidney damage. About staying steady on your feet and preventing falls, confusion, and hospital visits. And maybe most importantly, it's about reclaiming your mornings, so you feel like yourself again. Real talk from the clinic. I've sat across from thousands of patients over the years: teachers, truck drivers, grandmothers, veterans, caregivers. Different lives, different struggles, but almost all of them underestimated hydration. I remember one patient in particular, Joanne, 76, a retired kindergarten teacher. She came in complaining of dizziness and memory slips. Her daughter feared early dementia. But Joanne's labs showed one thing loud and clear: chronic dehydration. We didn't start her on medication, we started her on a routine. A morning glass of warm water, steady sipping throughout the day, 8 ounces of water with a pinch of salt and lemon 2 hours before bed. In just 2 weeks, Joanne's clarity improved. In 4, she was hiking again. And her daughter, she cried in my office. Because what seemed like decline was just a dry brain. If you take away one thing from this video, let it be this: hydration isn't optional, it's medicinal. Drink smart, sleep deeper, and give your body the chance to heal itself every single night. Because your health isn't built on what you do once in a while. It's built on what you do consistently with intention, knowledge, and care. So tonight, before you brush your teeth and crawl under the covers, pour yourself a glass, sip slowly, and toast to a better tomorrow. You've earned it.